What if feeling lost is not the end of your story, but the very sign that your new chapter has already begun? What if the confusion, the disorientation, the ache in your chest that says something's missing is not proof that you are broken, but proof that your old frequency no longer matches who you are becoming? Pause for a moment. Breathe. Let those questions echo inside you. Because the truth is, feeling lost is not the same as being lost. It is a signal. It is an initiation. It is the threshold of your next timeline waiting to be unlocked. Think about this. Every great transformation in your life was preceded by a moment when things didn't make sense. The ending of a relationship before you discovered real love. The collapse of a job or a role before you stepped into purpose. The silent nights where you wondered if anyone could hear you before you realized you were the one meant to hear yourself. So what if right now, in this very moment, the sense of, I don't know who I am, is actually the first whisper of your higher self saying, you are no longer who you once thought you were. Let yourself feel into that. Let yourself notice that the uneasiness, the uncertainty, the in-between, is not an accident. It is intelligent. It is precise. It is happening for you, not to you. You see, the mind hates being lost. It scrambles, it grasps, it tries to map out where you are. But the soul knows that the map only appears after the leap. The soul understands that being lost is the sacred hallway between two doors, one closing, one opening, and you standing in the luminous corridor of possibility. And perhaps the greatest shift of all begins when you stop fighting that corridor, when you stop judging the lostness as failure, and instead begin to see it as preparation. Because what if, just what if, the heaviness in your chest right now is not the weight of despair, but the gravitational pull of a new timeline drawing you in? What if the reason nothing feels solid is because reality itself is dissolving around you, preparing to reassemble at a higher vibration? What if this strange in-between you find yourself in is the exact portal your soul chose to awaken through? Let yourself imagine it. This lostness as a chrysalis. You are not wandering endlessly in the dark. You are cocooned in quantum possibility. The shell of the old is cracking, and soon the light will stream in. So the next time you whisper, I feel lost, pause and remember, lost is not your identity. It is your initiation. Lost is not your punishment. It is your passage. You are not at the end. You are at the threshold, and what lies on the other side is closer than you think. There is a name for the space you are in. Mystics, seekers, and visionaries across ages have called it many things: the dark night of the soul, the liminal zone, the sacred pause. But I want to offer you a name that honors the truth of what is happening: the energetic in-between. The energetic in-between is not failure. It is not regression. It is not you being stuck. It is the natural phase that arises when your old frequency has run its course, yet your new frequency is still crystallizing. It is the pause between inhale and exhale, the silence between musical notes, the twilight between night and sunrise. This space is uncomfortable precisely because it is sacred. You are no longer fully identified with who you were, yet you cannot fully grasp who you are becoming. You are standing in the fertile void, where identities collapse and new selves are gestating. Think of it as being between chapters in a book. The last page has been turned. The ink of your old storyline has dried, but the next page, blank, waiting for your soul to inscribe it. That moment of blankness, when the narrative has not yet continued, is the energetic in-between. And here's the paradox. The human mind resists it, but the soul celebrates it, because this is the only space where you are truly unbound. This is the only space where infinite potential exists. You may feel restless, uncertain, like you're floating in a fog with no ground beneath you. But what you are really experiencing is the dissolving of the old architecture of reality. The relationships, identities, and roles that once defined you are melting away because they cannot contain the next magnitude of your being. It is in the energetic in-between that the caterpillar's body disintegrates before the butterfly's wings take form. It is here that a seed splits apart in the darkness before it emerges into the Sunday. It is here that the silence before dawn stretches long and strange, just before the first rays of light pierce the horizon. So if you've been feeling lost, untethered, even emptied, name it. Call it what it is: the energetic in-between. Not brokenness, not failure, not hopelessness, but the sacred liminal space where old worlds fall away and new worlds wait to be born. By naming it, you reclaim its power. You shift from being at the mercy of confusion to being the witness of a precise transformation. Notice how it feels when you say it aloud to yourself. I am in the energetic in-between. Do you sense the difference? The heaviness begins to loosen. The despair begins to soften, because suddenly, you are no longer lost. You are placed. You are exactly where you are meant to be in a transitional womb of becoming. The energetic in-between is not a void to fear. It is a sanctuary for your rebirth. And the beauty is, you are not meant to rush through it. You are meant to breathe in it. You are meant to listen to the whispers that rise only in silence. You are meant to feel the subtle shift of your soul preparing for a new alignment. So the next time the question arises, why do I feel so empty? Remember, emptiness is not absence. It is spaciousness. It is room being made for something greater. You are not being erased. You are being rewritten. You are not being diminished. You are being expanded. And the very fact that you are here, listening to these words, is confirmation. Your timeline is already unlocking. You are already standing at the threshold of your quantum shift. This is the energetic in-between. Honor it. Name it. Breathe it. Because within this space, the impossible becomes possible. In physics, there is a principle called superposition. It tells us that, until observed, a particle does not exist in just one state. It exists in all possible states at once. It is not simply here or there, on or off, this or that. It is both, until the moment it collapses into a single expression. Now, why does this matter to you sitting here, feeling like your life is suspended in uncertainty? Because the energetic in-between you are in is exactly like superposition. Right now, you are not only lost, you are simultaneously all the versions of yourself you could become. You are the self that takes the leap, the self that reclaims their power, the self that awakens to new love, the self that discovers their calling. All of these possibilities exist within you, swirling in your field, like particles waiting for a moment of clarity. And the feeling of disorientation, that's not proof that nothing is happening. It's proof that everything is happening at once. Imagine yourself as a constellation of infinite futures. Each future self is alive inside you, vibrating in potential. You may not yet see the full picture, but the field around you is already alive with choice points, possibilities, and timelines. Superposition means that being in uncertainty is not the absence of direction, it is the presence of all directions. And this is why it feels overwhelming sometimes. You sense so many possibilities calling to you. You feel stretched between who you were and who you are becoming. Your system is expanding to hold more options than the mind can neatly categorize. But here's the shift. Instead of seeing this lostness as chaos, begin to see it as a magnificent quantum field of options waiting for alignment. You are not drifting aimlessly. You are standing in the 0 point of possibility, where every outcome is still open. And like the particle in superposition, your reality will collapse into form the moment your inner frequency aligns with a choice. Until then, you are not wrong for feeling uncertain. You are simply holding space for your highest timeline to emerge. Think of the butterfly again, not yet winged, not yet defined, but filled with codes of potential. Or the symphony before the conductor's baton falls, every note possible, every instrument poised, the music suspended in silence until the cue arises. This is your life right now. Superposition embodied. So what if the lost feeling you've labeled as wrong is actually the sensation of your quantum potential, expanding beyond recognition? What if the dizziness you feel sometimes is your system trying to comprehend just how many versions of you are possible? What if this fog is the protective grace that shields you from rushing into a premature form, giving your soul space to choose wisely which timeline you are ready to inhabit? Superposition is not confusion, it is abundance. It is the infinite awaiting expression. So, as you sit in the energetic in-between, I want you to imagine your life as that quantum particle, not collapsed, not fixed, alive in countless realities, waiting for alignment. And in that imagination, let yourself feel the power. You are not stuck. You are spacious. You are not lost. You are limitless. When you can see your lostness, not as a flaw, but as a quantum truth, then suddenly the fear dissolves. Suddenly, Uncertainty becomes possibility. Suddenly, you recognize that you are not at the mercy of fate. You are the one holding the field of infinite timelines. And soon, with presence and alignment, the collapse will occur not as an accident, but as the natural crystallization of the self you are ready to embody. That is the gift of superposition, and that is the gift of the space you are in right now. So let's take this deeper. What you've been calling lost is not collapse, it's gestation. What you've been calling confusion is not chaos, it's expansion. And what you've been calling discomfort is not punishment, it's the stretching of your soul into a new dimension of self. Pause here. Feel this truth land in your body. Discomfort is not the enemy. Discomfort is the signal. Think of a seed. Before it sprouts, it swells, splits, and pushes against the shell that once held it. From the outside, it looks like destruction. But within, a new force of life is pressing through. That's you right now. The cracking you feel inside is not failure. It is your evolution pressing against the walls of the old. Your restlessness, growth. Your unease, activation. Your uncertainty, proof that you are expanding beyond the limits of your last identity. You see, the mind interprets discomfort as danger. It says, something is wrong, fix this, escape this, go back to what you know. But your soul whispers a different story. It says, stay here. This pressure is reshaping you. This tension is birthing your wings. So let's reframe it together. Discomfort means you are alive. Discomfort means the process is working. Discomfort means the shift has already begun. Say it with me, even quietly in your mind. I am not unraveling, I am becoming. That's the power of reframing. The same sensation that once made you question yourself now becomes your compass. The weight on your chest no longer drags you down, it becomes the gravity pulling you into alignment with your next frequency. When the ache rises, you can meet it differently. Instead of, why is this happening to me? You can whisper, the shift is near. Instead of, I'm falling apart, you can declare, I'm breaking open. One short sentence has the power to flip your entire perception. This is not the end. This is the becoming. Notice how your energy changes when you hold that thought. Notice how the fog feels less like a trap and more like a veil lifting. Notice how the heaviness transforms into an initiation when you call it by its true name. Because here's the deepest secret. The discomfort is intelligent. It knows what it's doing. It's not random. It's not cruel. It is the precise medicine your soul chose to awaken through. Every time your chest tightens, every time the tears come, every time the uncertainty rises, it is the universe pressing gently against you, saying, keep going. The new you is closer than you think, or sat. So instead of resisting it, what happens if you lean in? What happens if, rather than fighting to escape the feeling, you allow it to teach you? What happens if you realize that this is the exact terrain every soul must walk before their quantum leap? The reframe is simple, but profound. Discomfort is not your downfall. It is your doorway. And the moment you see it that way, everything changes. The ache becomes an ally. The fog becomes a teacher. The lostness becomes the most sacred sign of all, that you are no longer who you were, and that your becoming is already unfolding. So the next time the discomfort rises, remember, you are not breaking down. You are breaking through. Now that you understand your discomfort as a signal, let's soften into how you can meet it. Because this is not about fixing. This is not about forcing. This is about attuning. The energetic in-between asks for a different kind of posture, not the rigid striving of the old self, but the gentle presence of the emerging self. So, instead of asking, how do I get out of this? Ask, how can I breathe with this? Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself standing in a vast open field. The fog swirls around you, but the ground beneath your feet is steady. You don't need to know where the horizon leads. You only need to know that you are being held by the earth right now. Breathe. Attune. Harmonize with the silence. These are your allies in the in-between. When the mind demands answers, give yourself permission to pause. Place a hand on your heart. Feel the rhythm that continues beneath all confusion. The heart does not hurry. The heart does not panic. The heart simply beats, beat after beat, anchoring you into presence. Whisper softly to yourself, I allow myself to be here. This small act dissolves resistance. It turns the fog from enemy to companion. It reminds your nervous system that safety is not in knowing every step ahead. Safety is in allowing this moment to be enough. Let yourself notice the subtle movements in your energy. Even when you feel still, there is always motion. The breath rises and falls. The pulse quickens and softens. The energy shifts and hums. You are never truly stagnant. You are always in flow, even when the flow feels hidden. Try this. When the tension rises, instead of tightening, breathe wider. When the thoughts spiral, instead of arguing, witness them. When the ache deepens, instead of resisting, place your hand where it hurts and allow. You see, guidance in the in-between does not come as a lightning bolt. It comes as whispers. It comes as sensations. It comes as subtle alignments that arrive only when you are soft enough to notice. And this is why gentleness is so powerful here. Because in gentleness, you become receptive. In gentleness, you notice what the rushing mind cannot see. In gentleness, you open space for the new frequency to settle into your being. Imagine yourself like a tuning fork. When you soften, you become able to resonate with the higher frequency that is calling you. The more you attune, the more you harmonize, the more you align with the self you are becoming. So, here is your practice. Not fixing, not hustling, not rushing, but breathing, witnessing, allowing. When you do this, the discomfort no longer feels unbearable. It becomes spacious. It becomes navigable. It becomes something you can move with, rather than against. And slowly, gently, you begin to realize the in-between is not a punishment. It is a place of preparation. It is where your nervous system learns to hold the higher frequency you are stepping into. So the next time you feel lost, don't try to find yourself. Breathe yourself. Feel yourself. Allow yourself. Because when you stop resisting, you begin to notice that the fog itself is moving. The energy is shifting. And without you even trying, the path begins to reveal itself. Softness, then, is not weakness. It is mastery. It is the art of allowing your becoming to unfold without force. And that is how you align with your quantum shift, by breathing, attuning, harmonizing, and allowing. There is another concept in quantum physics that mirrors this exact stage of your awakening: decoherence. In simple terms, decoherence is what happens when a quantum system full of infinite possibilities begins to interact with its environment. Out of all the possible states it could exist in, it starts to stabilize, to take form, to choose a path of reality. Now, imagine your life in the energetic in-between as a quantum field alive with potential. Every timeline, every identity, every version of you is swirling there, just as we spoke of with superposition. But in order for one of those potentials to solidify into your lived reality, something must happen. Coherence must break. The fog must dissolve. The infinite possibilities must narrow into one aligned choice. That narrowing, that crystallization, is decoherence. And here's the profound part. Decoherence often feels messy, because what it really is reality collapsing around you, shedding what cannot remain. The identities, relationships, patterns, and structures that no longer resonate with your new vibration begin to fall away. It feels like unraveling. It feels like chaos. It feels like things slipping through your fingers. But what is really happening is your field is aligning. The unnecessary is dissolving. The incoherent is departing. The fragmented is returning to wholeness. You may look around and see friendships ending, old roles dissolving, opportunities closing, and the mind cries out, "Why is everything falling apart?" But the soul knows. This is decoherence. This is alignment. This is reality preparing to crystallize into a higher state. Think of it this way. Imagine a kaleidoscope. At first, the pieces of colored glass are scattered, jumbled, incoherent. Then you turn the lens, and suddenly they arrange into a breathtaking pattern. That moment, the shift from chaos into coherence, is what your life is doing right now. You are in the turning. Yes, it feels unstable. Yes, it feels uncertain. But it is precisely through this instability that the new pattern is forming. Or picture water as it begins to freeze. At first it is fluid, formless, shifting endlessly. But then, as the molecules lock into alignment, structure emerges. A crystalline form takes shape. What was once liquid becomes solid. What was once ungraspable becomes tangible. This is decoherence. This is the stage you are in. And what's extraordinary is this. You don't need to force the alignment. It happens naturally. Just as the particle interacts with its environment, just as water crystallizes in the right conditions, your life is aligning through the natural intelligence of the field. The unraveling is not proof of failure. It is the very evidence that the quantum shift is occurring. So when you feel relationships slipping away, when your old identity no longer fits, when your reality feels like it's dissolving, remember, this is the decoherence moment, the narrowing into coherence, the transition from infinite possibilities to the next chapter of your becoming. And soon, just like the kaleidoscope, the pattern will click into place. Suddenly, the chaos will make sense. Suddenly, the scattered will reveal its order. Suddenly, you will see that nothing was random. Everything was rearranging for your leap. That's the quantum truth. And that is why you are not failing. You are decohering into alignment. So now let's turn this truth into your next reframe. Because here's the paradox you need to remember. What feels like regression is actually progress. Yes, it feels like you're going backward. Yes, it feels like you've lost momentum. Yes, it seems as though the clarity you once had has dissolved into fog. But look again, this is not the collapse of your path. This is the deepening of it. Think of the tide at the shore. The waves never crash forward endlessly. They surge, then they recede. To the untrained eye, the water pulling back looks like retreat. But what it's really doing is gathering strength, momentum, and force for the next great wave. That's you right now. The retreat is not regression, it is your gathering. Or picture an archer drawing back a bow. The string tightens. The arrow is pulled away from the target. In that moment, it looks like movement in the wrong direction. But in truth, it is the necessary preparation for the arrow to fly farther than it ever could without that tension. This is the paradox of your becoming. The steps that feel like backwards motion are actually the coil of potential that launches you forward. And isn't that what growth has always been? Think about it when you outgrew an old friendship. Didn't it feel like loss before it revealed itself as freedom? When you left that job or identity behind, didn't it feel like emptiness before it revealed itself as expansion? When you faced heartbreak, didn't it feel like collapse before it revealed itself as awakening? Every apparent regression was secretly progression in disguise. So let's reframe it once again. When the energy dips, it is not collapse. It is integration. When the fog thickens, it is not confusion. It is incubation. When the old returns to test you, it is not failure. It is confirmation that you are leveling up. Progress doesn't always feel like progress. Sometimes it feels like nothing at all. Sometimes it feels like silence. Sometimes it feels like emptiness. But beneath the surface, everything is moving, realigning, recalibrating. Think of the seed again. Underground, invisible, unseen. From the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But below the soil, roots are spreading, life is stirring, energy is gathering for a breakthrough. That's your life right now. You are not regressing. You are rooting. You are preparing. Say this with me. I am not falling back, I am winding forward. Let it land. Let it change the way you see the pauses, the setbacks, the silences. Let it remind you that the timeline you are stepping into requires this recalibration. Because the truth is, you cannot leap without first gathering. You cannot rise without first grounding. You cannot fly without first feeling the tension of the bowstring. And so the next time your mind whispers, I'm slipping, I'm failing, I'm going backward, you will know the deeper truth. This is my momentum building. This is my progress hidden inside the pause. This is my regression that is not regression at all, but preparation for my quantum shift. You are not unraveling. You are gathering. You are not going backward. You are about to launch. Now that you can see your pause as progress, let's speak about how to move inside this space, because what you don't do here matters just as much as what you do. The temptation, when you feel lost, is to force clarity, to hustle your way into answers, to fix what isn't broken. But the in-between is not a place that responds to force. In fact, force only tightens the fog. The more you push, the thicker it seems to become. So here is your gentle reminder. Don't force, don't hustle, don't fix. Don't force clarity, because clarity arrives not as a hammer but as a whisper. Don't hustle for solutions, because the new frequency cannot be rushed, only received. Don't try to fix yourself because you are not broken. You are transforming. Instead, choose stillness. Choose presence. Choose alignment. Stillness does not mean inactivity. Stillness is an inner posture, a willingness to stop clawing at the future long enough to feel the present moment holding you. Presence means allowing your breath, your heartbeat, your senses to remind you that you are safe here, now. Alignment means noticing what truly resonates with your being and letting the rest drift away. You can practice this in simple, quiet ways. Sit in silence for just a few minutes each day, not demanding insight, simply allowing space. Walk slowly without a destination, letting your body guide your pace, letting the world around you remind you of rhythm. Place your hands on your heart and breathe, harmonizing your pulse with your breath until you feel yourself anchored. Notice what softens you. A song, a candle, the way sunlight moves across a wall. These are not distractions, they are alignments. They remind your nervous system how to rest in being. You see, the quantum field you are navigating is highly responsive. It does not speak the language of striving, it speaks the language of resonance. The calmer you become, the clearer your frequency. The clearer your frequency, the smoother the decoherence. The smoother the decoherence, the more gracefully your new timeline crystallizes. So instead of running in circles trying to figure it all out, let yourself be figured out by the field. Let the intelligence of life rearrange what you cannot rearrange. Let the current carry you. And every time the urge to hustle rises, remember, hustling is the old frequency. Fixing is the old pattern. Forcing is the old survival strategy. You are not surviving anymore. You are awakening. So breathe, soften, align. Let presence become your practice. Let stillness become your strength. Let alignment become your compass. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, you'll notice. The fog begins to thin. Insights begin to arrive. Opportunities begin to present themselves not through effort, but through resonance. Because this is the paradox. The less you push, the more you receive. The more you soften, the more you align. The more you let go, the more the new timeline unlocks. So release the need to fix. Release the need to hustle. Release the need to force. Instead, choose the sacred alternative. Stillness, presence, alignment. These are not passive states. They are powerful frequencies. They are the exact vibrational codes that allow your next reality to crystallize with grace. And in this softness, you will discover that you were never lost at all. You were simply being tuned. Breathe with me here, because everything we've traveled through, the lostness, the in-between, the discomfort, the reframes, the guidance, it's all been leading to this moment. The realization that you are not unraveling. You are gathering momentum. Feel that truth ripple through you. Every ache, every silence, every foggy day has been energy accumulating, aligning, converging, preparing you for the leap your mind cannot yet comprehend. You are not at the end of your story. You are at the turning point. You are not dissolving, you are condensing into brilliance. Imagine the tide once more. You have felt it pulling back, retreating, leaving the shore bare. And yet, in this very instant, it is gathering all its force, ready to surge forward with a power greater than before. That's your soul. That's your becoming. The wave is already building. Imagine the archer again. The bowstring has been drawn back, the tension almost unbearable. But that tension, that gathering is what allows the arrow to soar higher, farther, faster than it ever could without it. That's your life right now. The leap is already coded into your being. And imagine the butterfly. Wings pressed tight in the cocoon, darkness all around, no light in sight. From the outside, it looks like dissolution. But inside, new cells, imaginal cells, are sparking into being, carrying the blueprint of flight. That's what's happening within you. The wings of your next self are already forming. So hear me now. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not lost. You are gathering. You are aligning. You are becoming. Your soul is gathering momentum for the quantum shift that will catapult you into the timeline your heart has been whispering about for years. And the moment will come, it always comes, when the wave crashes forward, when the arrow releases, when the wings unfurl. That is the leap. That is the breakthrough. That is the moment where you realize the entire time life was not unraveling, it was preparing you for liftoff. So let yourself feel it now, even before it arrives. Close your eyes and sense the hum beneath your skin, the current pulling you forward. Sense the inevitability of your shift. Sense the timeline already unlocking. Because this is the truth. You cannot miss it. You cannot fail it. The fact that you feel lost means you are already in it. The discomfort, the stillness, the gathering that is the process. And the leap is closer than you think. So lift your head. Breathe deeper. Let your heart expand. Say it with me. I am not unraveling. I am gathering momentum for my leap. Let those words anchor you. Let them ignite you. Let them carry you through the fog. Because soon, so very soon, the horizon will break open, and you will see what all this has been preparing you for. And when that moment comes, you will know, in your bones, you were never lost. You were always being guided. Take a deep breath with me now. Because you've walked the corridor of lostness, you've named the in-between, you've discovered the quantum truths hidden inside your discomfort. And now, here you stand on the threshold of your shift. Let this truth settle into you. You've already stepped into the new frequency. The fact that you've listened, that you've allowed, that you've stayed with yourself through the fog, this is the initiation. The shift is not some distant event you are waiting for. It is already unfolding within you, breath by breath, heartbeat by heartbeat. You are not who you were when you pressed play on this video. You have already crossed a threshold. You are already radiating at a new frequency. Say this with me, softly but powerfully. I am in my shift. I am not waiting for it, I am living it now. That affirmation is the seal. It is the reminder that your becoming is not ahead of you, it is within you. The leap you've been sensing is not separate from you, it is you. So as you leave this space today, walk gently but confidently. Carry the awareness that your lostness was never failure. It was the signpost. It was the doorway. And now, your path stretches forward, not in confusion, but in clarity born from trust. And if you feel called to go deeper, to continue aligning with this frequency, I invite you to stay connected. There are more journeys waiting for you, more transmissions, more guidance, more activations designed to keep you anchored in your awakening. You can explore the next video, where we'll expand this field even further. Or, if you wish to receive ongoing guidance directly, join the newsletter or download the free ebook linked below, created to support your unfolding, step by step, as your quantum shift integrates. But remember, above all else, you are not behind, you are not lost, you are not unraveling. You are already on your timeline. You are already in your leap. You are already living the new frequency, and every breath you take is proof. So walk forward with your head high, your heart open, your energy aligned. The quantum shift is not coming, it is here. And you, beloved one, are ready.